Hi everyone, welcome to my allotment garden and welcome to my first ever YouTube video. My plan today is to not make this too complicated, so I'm just going to give you a really quick tour of the allotment so you can sort of see where we're at the moment. So a little bit about my allotment. I've had this plot, I'm based in Milton Keynes, and I've had this plot since February 2020. It's around 250 square metres. We are currently standing at the top of my plot, and if I get out of the way, don't know if you'll be able to see, but at the bottom of my plot is where the arch is at the bottom. I am taking on a second plot in October of this year, just waiting for the people leaving to vacate completely. I may give you a few sneak peeks of that a little bit later. So I suppose we should probably start with the tour. My polytunnel is a 6 by 3 metre Dutch barn style polytunnel. Really pleased with it, no complaints. Excuse the Union Jack flags. They are left over from a bit of a joke that two of the other plot holders had with me. I'll take you into the polytunnel. You have to excuse any mess that we may discover in here. Crate on the floor, it's not too bad. Right at the very back I have a really large potting bench that runs the whole way across. I also have a cabbage white butterfly in here. They're not the most annoying thing ever. It's trying to get to my brassicas, which are all under this netting. So these are my winter brassicas. I've got some cabbage, some cauliflower. I think there's some pak choy in there as well. So just a mix of sort of brassicas going on there. And he is looking quite determined, but hopefully he won't find his way in. Then I've just got some winter lettuces and some spring onions, so not a lot happening there. Now these are sad, but I'm going to show you the good and the bad. This is one of my cucumbers, which is unfortunately succumbing quite rapidly to spider mite. I did buy some treatment. If you go over to my Instagram page, you'll see what I bought, because in all honesty, it didn't work. My polytunnel is dominated by tomatoes, cucumbers, and then I have some Cape gooseberries growing in pots at the back. They seem to be doing quite well. I do have some little fruits on them. I've never grown these before. I've eaten some now and they're absolutely amazing. So yeah, they're doing quite well in there. I've got another cucumber plant here, which fortunately doesn't appear to have been affected by the spider mite yet. It will come, but hopefully I'll get the cucumbers off before that. Has anyone else found this to be the year of the cucumber? Honestly, you would not believe how many cucumbers I have had off these plants. They have been absolutely amazing. Okay, they've got spider mite now, but fantastic year for cucumbers. Then we've got some kale growing under netting. I've got both curly kale and some Cavolo Nero kale as well. Not entirely sure what I was thinking here, but I seem to have an absolute abundance of beetroot. The remains of some spring onions. Don't quite know what I was thinking when I sowed quite this much beetroot. I like beetroot, but probably not that much. Then if you follow me over on Instagram, you will know how ridiculously proud of this squash plant I have been this year. I have finally made the decision and done it. I have now topped it out to try and stop it growing anymore so it can focus on ripening the fruits that are already here. I think I've got 6 good sized fruits on here. Now the catch is I don't actually know what this squash is. It was given to me as a crown prince, but it's definitely not one of those. Let me show you this one as well. So if you know what this is, I'm all ears. I'd love to know. But it comes all the way up. You can see I've got 2 more fruits here and then 1 more sort of appearing in the Brassica Cage. While we're here, I'll take you into the Brassica Cage. So my Brassica Cage is just a 6 by 3 metre polytunnel frame. Someone lost the cover for it, and rather than just replacing the cover, they made the decision to buy a whole new polytunnel. And I took advantage of that opportunity. got hold of this, just a bit of netting over the top, and it's worked really, really well for keeping the cabbage whites off. Not so well for the flea beetle, but we'll get onto that in a minute. So in here is a mix of absolutely all sorts. I have got, I think this is calabrese down here. I've got some Brussels sprouts, red cabbage, kalettes, which I've never grown before, so don't know what they're like, but nothing on it at the moment. So yeah, hopefully they'll be good. I have had possibly the worst issue with flea beetle ever. I've never known it so bad. This is the damage all caused by flea beetle. But I have been trying some nematodes. They're not 100% effective for it, but they do seem to be making it, oh, try not to fall over, making it a little bit better in here. I also grew my sweet corn in here, so we have a massive issue with squirrels on this site, and they have the ability to strip sweet corn plants sort of overnight. But in here, I'm not going to claim for 1 minute they couldn't get in here if they really wanted to, but so far, I am touching some wood, they do seem to have been sort of kept away from it at the moment. Back out of the polytunnel, and this is my carrot bed. We've got some really heavy clay soil here, so I tend to grow my carrots in this raised bed, which is a mixture of compost and sand. But I will be honest, this year not been a great year for carrots. I think the dryness has really affected them, lack of rain, sort of having to top water them rather than just allowing the natural rainwater to seep in. I've got a sort of plan for next year, which involves some drain pipes. You might have caught a glimpse of those a little bit earlier on in the video, and hopefully we might get a little bit of better crop next year. And then I've got my parsnips and my salsify, and here I have a slight mystery plant. If anyone knows what this is, I'd be really interested to hear. It's kind of stayed because actually I quite like it, but I don't know what it is. Then I've got my black currant bushes, which have been really badly neglected this year. I didn't get to net them, the birds stripped them. Now my steptoe yard's fallen on them. This is my herb garden, and in here I am growing parsley, Welsh onion, 3 different types of mint. I've got this red perilla, which is amazing. The colour is stunning and it's a bit of a beast. Then I'm growing cola. It's another type of mint up there. Garlic chives, which is this tiny little selection here. Normal chives, Landcrest Vietnamese coriander, and some thyme. My leeks this year I am growing under this veggie mesh because I, like many people, had a real issue with allium leaf miner this year. It really affected my garlic and my onions. They were complete, well, my garlic I was able to freeze, but my onions were more or less complete loss. So they're growing under here. Today I have finally built the much needed supports for my raspberry canes. So earlier this year I had a kind of really awkward mixture of autumn and summer fruiting raspberries that had all been given to me. The problem with that was that I didn't know which to cut and which not to cut. So I cut my losses and took all of them out this year, and bought myself some new raspberry canes. These are autumn fruiting Joan J. As you can see, there are some ripe, ready to go. However, they're first year, so they're not very big. But what I also found was in the recent rains, they just completely collapsed and were laying all over the floor. So today's job was to build this new support frame for them. Now, this here has become a situation, badly planned situation. So right in front of me, I have some courgette plants that have started to succumb to sort of powdery mildew quite rapidly, but I'm not too concerned. No, this is sort of late, so we're going into September now, so I'm not too concerned about that at all. And next to that is a mixture of butternut squash and the squash called baked potato. Now, there used to be a lovely path around about here somewhere, but as you can see, it's completely gone, and we've just got a sort of mountain of courgettes and squash. So we'll find another route. Got more butternut squash and baked potato squash. I have no idea which is which now. Don't ask me. They've just gone wild. Under here I have some Swede, which again, oh, just absolute nightmare with flea beetle. I've never had any luck with Swede, so if anyone's got any tips for growing Swede, I'd love to hear it. The bolted beds, bolted salad and bolted chicory, all coming out, will be redone. And here I'm growing some ochre. I've never grown ochre before, so yeah, quite excited by that. This is a selection of salads and weeds with a random tomato plant, not entirely sure where that's come from. So yeah, these are the lettuces that I'm currently eating at the moment, but as you can see, even though these are quite small, they are sort of bolting, so I'm just sort of eating those as quickly as possible. The risk is they're a little bit bitter, but they taste all right to me. So back down at my squash plants, I do have, right in the bottom here, if I can get to them, some squashes developing, so really pleased with those. They're the baked potato. My butternut have not been great this year. There is one around the other side that I've spotted, but this I believe is butternut, and then butternut, possibly baked potato maybe, just a mess. At the front of my plant, normally I grow all my flowers. Did grow flowers, a lot of them are starting to go over, and something appears to be eating quite rapidly. In fact, I think it's completely stripped that one, my sunflowers, but we're going to go with that being the birds, squirrels, rats. Not too worried at this stage. Here I've got some, you'll notice a common theme, flea beetle damaged turnip, and I've also got some charge growing here as well. Now this one I know is a butternut squash. This is the last of my potatoes that I just need to take out. I started doing those earlier today and then kind of lost motivation with that one. Some brassicas that wouldn't fit in the Brassica cage. Bizarrely, not flea beetle damaged. Don't know why, but they're not. Or very minorly, if they are. Here I have my enormous wall of runner beans, which has been amazing this year. I know a lot of people have struggled with runner beans, but mine seem to have been okay. And then I've got some, the story behind the teepee and the tiny beans. The packet says they are climbing. Now they are clearly not climbing, but I built the teepees believing they were climbing, and the teepees have kind of stayed. This squash, unfortunately, has got spider mite, so I think its days are numbered. And if I need this bed for some winter, say all those ones down there are doing brilliantly, so if I need this bed for some winter veg, it will come out, because the French beans are also coming to an end. Courgette, another courgette plant. So this year I'm going to have another go at growing some Christmas potatoes. I tried a couple of years ago but didn't have any success at all. So I think that was a little bit of disorganisation on my part. I left them outside too long and the frost got to them. So in here I'm just growing some Maris Pipers, staple potato, we know roast very well, and the plan is they will be for Christmas dinner. And then in a tub at the back here I've also got some Autumn King carrots, another sort of Christmas dinner staple. Earlier this year I was lucky enough to visit the gardens of Helgen, and one of the things that I thought was absolutely amazing there was the level of grow houses that they had. They had things like the citrus house, the melon house, the vine house. Unfortunately, I'm not in a position to have multiple grow houses on my plot. Can't afford it, and the rules don't allow it. Another thing they did was a lot of growing in cold frames. They grew a lot of their herbs and salads in them, and I thought that was something I could easily adapt and bring onto my plot. I already had this cold frame. It was actually sitting over by the shed there. But what it had become was sort of a graveyard for seedlings. So once I'd filled the bed, I'd put any spare seedlings in here, and inevitably this is where they came to die. So I moved it out away from the shed, put it into this sort of raised pallet collar bed here. And in here I have growing my basil, oregano, parsley, dill, and some purple basil as well. And actually this has worked really well for me this year. So if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your support. My plan moving forward is some monthly plot tours, and then as I progress with plot 2, some updates on what's happening over there. The plan is for plot 2 to be quite different to plot 1. I've got some big ideas, but perhaps I'll discuss those in a separate video. So thanks again, and hopefully I will see you soon.